Babe, your life is about to change for the better. Your life is about to change for the better. You are about to step into the best version of yourself that you have ever seen, okay? We are no longer letting other people project onto us. We are no longer letting other people put their insecurities on us, their negative belief systems on us, their lack mindsets on us. We are no longer playing small. We are going after everything that God promised us. And we're not going to stop until we get it. Y'all, I am so excited for this energy. Like, I am hyped because I'm back in that mode, okay? You know how, you just go through different seasons. Sometimes it's a season of isolation. Sometimes you just need a moment to yourself so you can really go within. You can do that reflecting. You can think about things. You can decide how you're going to handle things differently moving forward, right? We all need those times for, isolation and being in like hermit mode, just so you can really lock in and really, protect your energy, because your energy is the most valuable currency that you have. Okay. You must protect it at all costs. And people don't even realize that they are giving out their energy when they are entertaining things that they don't even realize is not for them. Okay. A friend might call you with the latest tea, all the gossip, all the drama. And you're thinking that, because you're not really participating in the drama and you're just a listening ear, that you're not contributing to it. But you are. Because the moment that you sit on that phone and you absorb all of that negative energy is going into your energetic field. So now you are walking around with these perceptions of people and not even realizing that it is a projection of what that person was talking about on the phone to you. So, for example, if you're in a season of trying to have a healthy relationship, but then your friend calls you and they're giving you all the tea, all the drama about, this guy who's cheating on his girl and how men ain't ish and like, all the things. Even though, your relationship is fine, you're healthy, you're fine, you're absorbing all this negative energy about relationships, about men, about whatever. And subconsciously, you have this thought pattern about relationships or about certain dynamics or, whatever. Not even realizing that you absorbed that thought pattern from the person on the phone. Because before you even talk to them, you had a very positive, clear mindset about relationships and things. But it wasn't until they projected their negative energy onto you and you absorbed it into your field, now you're taking on their thought patterns. That's why it's so important to surround yourself around like-minded people and people who are doing better than you, or people who, you want to be like, okay? And I don't mean that in a sense of trying to copy them or, destiny swap or like any of that weird stuff, okay? I just mean you want to actually get around the people who are going to elevate you, who want to motivate you, who want to see you win, who want to uplift you. You are not going to grow around people with a lack mindset, negative people, low vibrational people. And a lot of times these people don't even realize what they're doing. And it's not that they are evil. It's not that they are bad. It's not any of that. It's not like you are better than them. It's just y'all are in a whole complete different timeline. You're in a different frequency of energy. They're in a low vibrational energy. You are in a high vibrational energy. If you come down to meet them, as in, you entertain that gossip, you entertain, the drama or whatever, as soon as you come down to their level, you are now in a low vibrational state. So it is so important for you to surround yourself with like-minded people who are in that high vibe and are going to keep you in that high vibe. And when they see you start to slip, they're going to remind you of who you are and your power. And you need to get away from anybody who tells you not to believe in yourself, okay, that you don't hold power. You need to get away from anybody who tells you that, the power is not within yourself, because they are only trying to lead you away from the true God within. Okay? So use discernment when you're around people. That intuition, your gut feeling, that gut instinct is going to let you know, if this person is safe or not for you. Okay? Only you can tell that. And now, a lot of people get anxiety. Some people are they're anxious, So having anxiety around certain people doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. So don't think that just because you have anxious thoughts around people that they're bad people. That's probably something that you just need to work on separately, as far as like social anxiety and like things like that. But you will pick up on bad vibes. And you will pick up on the feeling that your body gets around someone if you are trying to, be in that high vibe state of mind. And it's like, no matter what you do, you just feel very low around them. Then you need to get away from those types of people. And you also need alone time to really get to know yourself. People are so scared to be alone. And I get it. I get why. I get the concept of why people are scared to be alone. But that's always been a foreign concept for me, because I'm an only child. I don't really have a lot of family. It was always me and my mama. She was a single mom. So I've always kind of been alone. And so it's just never been an issue for me to isolate and be by myself in my own energy. I won't say it's always been comfortable. I have had times where I get lonely and, you just want to have somebody or whatever. But for the most part, I am very comfortable in isolation. I am very comfortable being by myself, alone in my own energy, because I know that it's safe there, okay? I know that nobody is going to disturb that peace that I have built within myself. And I think that's why a lot of people are scared to be alone, because they don't have peace within. And I get that, because I went through several periods where, I was going through a lot of, dark times and spiritual warfare and like, fighting demons and like all the things alone. And it's hard. Like, you need to surround yourself, around positive, uplifting people when you're going through dark times, because if you consume yourself with darkness alone, it's only going to get worse. But luckily for me, during those times, I actually turned to YouTube and found, channels like mine, like other people speaking life into people, and, and that's why I'm doing this, honestly, to be that light for people who are alone in the dark and don't have anybody to help pull them out, But yeah, so but I get why people are scared to be alone, but it is absolutely necessary for you to take time to yourself. And even if you are married, even if, you have kids, even if you live with a big family, you always have people around you, you still need to take time to be alone. Even if you have to be around your family, you have to take some time every single day to, go sit in your car for like 30 minutes, or go, on a drive somewhere to clear your mind, clear your head, go drive to the beach or something, get by the water, so you can really have that alone time to yourself, so you can think, quiet your mind, meditate, get rid of other people's thoughts and opinions about your life and what you want. Because people don't realize that thoughts create things. I mean, some people do realize it, but I don't think people really grasp the concept. Like, thoughts create things. So if other people are telling you how you should be doing things and you're very receptive to their opinions, then you're going to take their opinions as face value and then think that what you are thinking is wrong or invalid. So then you're losing trust in yourself and you're putting somebody else on a pedestal for their thoughts. And what they think may be true for them, but that may not be the path for you. So you need to learn how to think for yourself. And that's why I said, honestly, you do not need to trust anybody who tells you to not listen to God within you, because they're leading you astray. The God within you is always going to give you what you need, okay? That's that intuition. That's, quieting your mind and really listening to the Spirit of God within you, okay? If people tell you to not trust your intuition, they're leading you astray. They want you to follow them and what they want for you. That's control. Okay? I am a free thinker, and I motivate other people to be free thinkers. We all hold this power. We all have this power within ourselves to rise and be the best version of ourselves. And anytime that, things are not going our way, we get another chance to rewrite it the very next day. All you have to do is break the pattern. A lot of people whine and complain and cry about how their life is so miserable and it sucks, but they don't even realize you're repeating the same cycles, the same patterns. You're doing the same thing, expecting different results, and that is the definition of insanity. So if you constantly react to, somebody gaslighting you, for a fact you said what you said. And they are trying to tell you that you didn't say what you said. Normally you're a reactive person and you would blow up, and then it would cause, an argument or whatever. And then, now you have issues with this person or whatever. If you know that you are emotionally reactive and you let things bother you, if you want to step into being a peaceful person who does not react to things, the next time you get in a situation that God is giving you to basically see, have you changed or not, you must decide that you are going to do things differently in that moment. You're not going to react emotionally. You may be more mature in that moment. You may be more listening, more understanding in that moment. So now you're not repeating the cycle. You're breaking that cycle. If you're always bad with money, if you're always spending all your money on, I don't know, like alcohol every week, going out to the club or like whatever, if you're always blowing your money and you can never save, then you're going to have to break that cycle and start doing things differently. Start staying at home, at least for a couple weeks, So it's like, do different if you want different, and then get around people who actually are doing the things that you want to do, and get away from people who are keeping you stuck and projecting their thoughts onto you. That's really all that the Matrix is. The Matrix is everybody projecting their thought patterns on other people and then trying to control the narrative. And whoever does not have control of themselves ends up being the sheep, ends up just being the blind followers in the Matrix and just does whatever society says to do. I'm not saying this to be condescending or arrogant or like I'm above anybody, or, like I'm not a sheep and like everybody else is, little peasants. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But because I was heavy in the Matrix, okay? Just knew all the tea about all the celebrities, just, staying with the latest trends, like always trying to, do the next thing, always got to be at the next event, whatever. Like, I was heavy in the Matrix. So I get it. But I got tired of not feeling like I run my life. Like these decisions that I'm making is based off of, what I see on social media. And people love to say all day, that they think for themselves and they don't let other people influence them or whatever. But it's a lie, because we are all influenced by somebody or something, okay? Nothing is ever really original. I always say, like, I cannot stand when people copy me, and I really do not like it. It is not flattering at all. But I won't say that I am just the original and, I just create everything off the top of my head and I'm the first and, no. I will say people do try to emulate the things that I have done after the fact that I know that I, started it or whatever. But what I'm saying is most things are not one true original idea. Okay, everything has got some type of inspiration from somewhere, something. Even if you don't even know where it came from, it could have been something small, like you seen something on a poster walking by and that really registered in the back of your mind, in your subconscious. And, when you were sitting down trying to think of your creative, processes or whatever, that came from the back of your mind. And that sparked the inspiration, right? But that is why me personally, I always give credit. I always give flowers for anything that I've ever had any little bit of inspiration from. I always give flowers. And anybody who says that I haven't, they're a hater. Okay? Because I acknowledge anybody who has helped me along my path that, I've gotten this far. But anyways, but I'm saying all that to say that, but I'm saying all that to say, it's gonna probably mess up. Hold on. Sorry, had to move my camera. Really need to get another tripod. But anyways, I said all that to say that you really have to stop letting society tell you who you are. Okay, we don't even realize that it's happening until it happens, until you wake up and you are living somebody else's life. You are waking up and living the life that you thought you wanted because you've seen it on Instagram. You're waking up and you're living, or you're working this career that you thought you wanted because you've seen it on social media, or they told you, this is the type of career that is for you. This is your lane, this is your aesthetic, this is your category, this is your little box that we're going to put you in, and then you're going to be comfortable, okay? And you're going to interact with these types of people, and you need to have this type of dynamic in your relationships, and you need to drive this type of car and have these types of friends, and you need to go to this, type of school. But no, like, that is what society wants for you. What do you really want out of your life? You need to sit down and ask yourself that, really get clear, because without clarity, God is just going to send you whatever. It might be similar, but it's not going to be exactly what you want, because you have to get very specific to the T about what it is that you want. And it's hard to know that if you are basing your thoughts off of everybody around you, because you can't quiet your mind. You have, your friends in one ear telling you, say you're natural or whatever. Like, girl, why would you wear your hair natural? Like, weave is in, you need to get the bundles, you need to do this. I'm a makeup artist, a natural girl. She's like, I'm not really into makeup. Like, I would never push makeup on people, but I know that there are people who are literally like, well, I'm into makeup, so why wouldn't you wear makeup? Like, if you're going to be around me, you need to be wearing makeup. Like, there are really people that's like that. And that's why I say you need to get away from them. Okay? Because those are not your people. Nobody's going to try to change you. It's one thing to, see potential in someone and want to spark, that potential. But if they don't want to do that, if they don't want to be that person, then you can't force that onto them. You can't make people be somebody who they don't want to be. You need to be your most authentic self so that you can attract the people who love you for you. You have to be so authentic and so rooted in who you are that nothing can break you. Nobody's negative opinions of you is going to change the baseline of who you know that you are. People will literally try to break your confidence to make themselves feel better, to validate themselves, which is sad. A lot of people do not feel good about themselves unless other people feel less than them. And I realized that about, certain people in my life. I would not understand why it seemed like, anytime that I was up, anytime, I'm excited about things, like the energy is just like, like, you go, girl. That's cute. I'm happy for you. But then when I'm sad and I'm depressed and, I'm going through it and I got a million problems, everybody is around. And it almost seems like everybody else is so happy. And it seems like everybody else is just so high on life. And it's like, you realize that certain people get happy that you are down. You realize that certain people are not comfortable when you're winning. And then you realize that you don't even feel comfortable winning around these people. So you shrink yourself. You dim yourself. And then you don't even talk about the things that you really want because they're going to downplay it or tell you that, it's not possible to have it all, or you're going to have to go through this, and that. Or if you get it, they're going to pick everything apart and try to figure out, why it's still not to their standards. So you have to stop living for other people and living for yourself. One of, the most, I don't even know what the word for it is, but one of the things that I know women get the most slack for is, having kids and getting married. That is what society tells us we're pretty much, here for. Which, times are changing. So we're seeing that, women are doing a lot more things. So we're not just lowered to just being a housewife and, a mother or whatever. Like, that's just not what we're here for. But society will condemn you if you say you don't even want kids. Honestly, for me, I'm still on the fence about kids, and for a while, it took me so long to even come to that realization that I don't even know if I want kids or not. because my whole mind was wrapped around growing up and having a baby and getting married, because that is what society tells you you're supposed to do when you're a child. When you are a child, they give little girls babies and Barbie dolls to play with, and the house and the car, and like, so you can play house. I remember being in preschool playing house. They literally had a little house and like all the things, the little oven and the food and like, whatever, and the baby. Like, we would literally play house in preschool. So of course, you grow up and that's all you think is that, I'm a woman, I'm supposed to have kids. And then you have, society telling you if you don't have kids, you're not a woman. You're not, like, what are you here for? So it's just like, it was almost like a shame. Like, I couldn't even say, I don't know if I want to have kids or not. Because if you say that, then people look at you like, but who's going to take care of the kid? You know what I mean? Like, you have to set yourself up for a position that is going to benefit yourself. People will tell you, oh yeah, girl, like, nobody's ready for kids until they have the kids, and those same people have a million kids and their kids are miserable. They're not happy. They hate the parents. They have learning disability. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, no, I'm not going to listen to somebody just because they say, this is what you're supposed to do. People will say, oh, it doesn't matter. You can have kids. Like, they have all these programs and stuff. It doesn't matter if you have support or not. Like, no, that's okay for you and your story, but that is not my reality. And I'm not going to let other people project their limiting beliefs onto me for what I can have for my life. Now, I'm not saying I don't want kids, but I'm just saying I have the choice. It's my life, okay? I have the choice to whether I want kids or not. I have the choice to whether I want to get married or not. I have a choice to whether I even want to be in a relationship or not. I have that choice. And people try to project their beliefs onto you and tell you what you can and cannot do. And that is why you have to protect your energy. And sometimes you have to isolate so that you can get everybody else's opinions about your life out of your head, so you can think about what you want for your life. And really get real. Get real. Do not care about anybody and what they think. You don't need anybody but yourself and God. Don't stay in anything that is not meant for you just because society told you to, just because you're comfortable there, just because it's all you've known all your life. You are never going to become the version of yourself that you see in your head that you truly, genuinely want to be until you get real with who you truly want to be. So stop playing small. Stop letting people project their opinions onto you about who you are. Own who you are. Be unapologetic about it. And then start moving into that best version of yourself. And watch the miracles happen. And watch you step into your best life. And we are starting now, okay? Time is an illusion. We're not waiting till January for the new year, new me. We are starting right now. The time is now. I told y'all in the last video, let's go. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited about 2026 because I just already know that I'm literally about to get everything. Like, everything. I already know. And I'm not gonna talk too much, because when you start spilling out your energy, you start talking too much, you start, telling things prematurely, then that's when you delay your blessings. So learn how to keep things to yourself until you materialize them, until you have that stability. Because people really are plotting on your downfall, unfortunately. But yeah, it's not going to happen over here, okay? Nobody will ever be my demise, okay? I'm forever in my villain era, and I love it here. But if you made it to the end of this video, then drop me a rose and make sure you like and subscribe to this video, and I will see y'all on the next one.